Hi, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Dharma with Streaming. Today is April 18th, whereby we have previously many class before to talk about what is Buddhism, knowing about the Buddha, and also the steps in the path of learning the Dharma. As I mentioned in our previous class, the steps in learning the Dharma is very important is because they are the pillar of our journey. So when we get weak through the learning of the Dharma, we always go back and think about why we start to learn the Dharma and also what are the steps that we have to have before we learn the Dharma. So after knowing about the steps in learning the Dharma, and this is the time that we start to know about what the Buddha actually wants to tell us. And basically, I would like to remind all of us that when learning the Dharma, we always have to first empty our cup. Remember that if you have a lot of things in your cup, there's nothing we can put it in. So at this point of time, when we start to learn the Dharma, tell yourself is that at this point of time, let me put aside my own perceptions, my thinking, and just absorb like a sponge. And after you absorb, then is the time that you think about it. So I hope that all of you can always remind yourself that when I start to listen to these introductions or the sharing, just listen without any judgment yet. After you listen finish, then you can spend time to think about it. So now we are going to start with the basics teachings from the Buddha. After the Buddha enlightened under the Bodhi tree, he was actually thinking about how he shared what he realized about the truth of this universe to the people in this world. And he knows that all of us actually are so busy with our daily life. It's very difficult to tell us about what is the truth of impermanence, the non-self, and the nirvana, because we are so busy. We have a family to take care of, we have a career to take care of, we have a business to take care of. There's so many things that we need to do in our present life. So if he introduced about the truth of this universe and how do we transcend ourselves by facing this truth, nobody might understand, or not many people might understand what he's talking about. So the Buddha kept thinking is that how can he share to the people? What are things to share to the people that they are able to accept it? And he realized something is that he has to let the listeners to listen to something that they are familiar with before he start to share what he wants to say. So when he decided to look for someone that he can share his realization or enlightenment, he looked for the five practitioner that when he was practiced the ascetic, this 5 person follow his practice. So when he go to this 5 practitioner, initially or when the 5 practitioners saw him, they do not want to talk with him because the 5 practitioners thought that the Buddha has abandoned his practice. But when the Buddha start his teachings, these 5 disciples immediately understand what he wants to say. So the Buddha start to teach about the 4 noble truths. And this 4 noble truths, basically, most of us have experienced these 4 noble truths before. It's just that we did not actually aware about it, especially the first noble truth. This is something that we really experience it physically and mentally. So today, in the first class of this 4 noble truths, I would like to share with you what the Buddha taught us about the first noble truth called the suffering. Many people, when they start to know about Buddhism and they realize that the first teachings from the Buddha is about suffering, to them, they thought that this is very pessimistic. Why the Buddha never taught us about, or never teach us about how to be a happy person? Why he start to share about what is suffering? What is his objective? Is he trying to let us feel even more miserable about our life? What does he really think about when he was introducing the suffering? So let me start with the first suffering that we already aware of it, but we are not ready to accept it. And most of us, basically, we try to ignore it. So the first suffering is birth. And why is birth a suffering? Actually, just think about it. When we hear that somebody has a new baby, do we feel sad for them or we get happy for them? Did we say that, oh, congratulations, you have a new baby? Or did we say that, oh, I'm so sad you have a new baby? What normally we say? Congratulations, I feel happy for you. So this is our common thinking, that when a baby was born, it's a happy thing. It's something to be celebrated. But why the Buddha says that birth is suffering? What he's trying to let us realize is that when a baby is born to this world, it basically is the beginning of the path to experience all kinds of challenge and tasks in our life. It is the beginning, such as the challenge from the environment. Look at our environment. When the weather is hot, very hot, we feel uncomfortable. When the weather is very cold, snowing, we feel uncomfortable too. It rained, we are not happy. When it's too sunshine, we might not be happy too. Somebody might be happy, but no, not all. Some countries are so dusty. Some countries have a lot of challenge in their environment situation. So every day, in different places in this world, we human beings are experiencing all kinds of challenge due to the environment. Next, the challenge from our physical body. Our physical body feel the coldness, the hot feeling. We feel the wind blowing to us. We feel the radiation. Our physical body every day interact with different types of things coming to us. Some feeling make us feel comfortable, but not all the time. We have this challenge too. And next, from the people around us. When we were born, the people around us is our parents. We see our mother, our father, or the family members every day. We try to get something from them, but they don't give it to us. So we start to cry. We hope that they can hold us tightly. So we want them to hug us, to carry us. But it's too tired for them to keep carrying us. So when they put us down, we feel uncomfortable. And when we start to grow older, our parents try to control us. We are not happy with that. So we start to have argument with our parents. We try to get away from our parents. And when we start to have friends, not all the time the friends will listen to us. And sometimes the friends even hurt us. And we start to have relationship. And this relationship not all the time is sweet. The challenge. When we start to get work in the society, again, a lot of human challenge. So we have experienced a lot of politics type of things, emotional type of things due to the people around us. And also things around us. Our laptop, after 10 years not working, our cell phone not working, our car not working. We have a new things, and due to the wear and tear, things start to get damaged, get weaker and weaker. So we have to deal with the things around us as well. And the most important thing is that we have to deal with ourselves. We have difficulties to manage ourselves, our physical body, and also our emotional feeling. So think about it. Just think back in our entire life. Is happiness more than unhappiness, or unhappiness more than happiness? We have more peace and at ease feeling, or more lonely and insecure feeling? And when we are born, basically, we have more unpleasant experience, more challenging experience in our life than happiness and peace, comfortable. So since the day when we are born, basically ahead of us have more challenge, more uncomfortable feeling. And most important is that we have to face impermanence. And that's the reality of life. So according to the Buddha, when the day when we start to arrive this world is the journey of experiencing the task in our life. So that's why he says that suffering from birth. And next, aging. Aging to us is always unwelcome. We don't like to be getting old. However, none of us are able to avoid or escape from this reality. Besides seeing our body start to change, we are unable to control or stop our body from getting weaker and weaker. The pain that our physically experience, we can't do anything to it. Due to the pain from our body, our mind also starts to get weaker and weaker. Just look at our physical body. When the day that we were born, our skins are so soft. It smells good. When we get older and older, our muscle get stronger and stronger, tighter and tighter. We were very strong at that time. In the teenage time, we can run very fast. We can jump. We can do a lot of things. We don't even need to sleep for a few nights. But later on, when we get older and older, we realize that our body start to change. We start to have white hair. Our eyes have difficulties to see. We can't run very fast. And when we did not sleep for a few nights, our body will start to shout to us. We have difficulties to control this body. Our muscle is no more as firm as before. Our knees start to feel pain. Our joints start to feel pain. We start to feel sleepy all the time, very easily tired. We start to have all kinds of sickness coming out. And the most difficult thing is that we can't control it. You might say that, oh, I can eat vitamins. I can eat healthy food. I can eat a lot of fruits. I start to eat organic things. Yeah, you can start to do all these good actions. It might help us to delay the decay of this body. It might delay to 70 years old, 80 years old, then we start to feel weaker and weaker. But we will still feel weak. So we have the feeling of there's nothing we can do. We feel so sad that we can't do a lot of things to this aging. And also, when we see that our body is getting weaker and weaker, our physical appearance are changing, then we know that the next things that arrive to us is sickness and also death. And we also know that this is something that we cannot stop it. So we start to get weak in our mind. And because when we get weak in our mind, our body starts to decay even faster. And also, it's easily for us to get depression. And we don't know what to do. We don't know how to face this old age. And because we don't know how to face this old age, we get frustrating and start to have anger. And don't you think that we bring more harm to ourselves? Our physical body is already facing this challenge. But now our mental health also have this challenge. How do we deal with it? And old age bring more sickness. So the next suffering is sickness. In our entire life, every one of us, more or less, will experience some kind of sickness. When we physically feel sick, our mind will also start to feel sick. Just look at what happens now. The coronavirus is a kind of sickness. It will affect some people, and it might not affect some people. But this is a kind of sickness. It's just like cancer. Somebody will get cancer and somebody won't. But who will not? Nobody will know that, will this cancer get to you? So it's a kind of sickness, like diabetes, like heart disease. So sickness will come to us. A small flu, a cold, a stomach ache. All this sickness will let us feel uncomfortable. And when we face with very serious sickness, our body start to get weak, and our mind easily also get weak because we don't know what to do. We feel the insecure feeling, and because of insecure, we start to have fear. Again, because we don't know what to do. And when we start to have fear, it's difficult for us to get healthy. So a lot of people say that when a person gets a cancer and they start to feel fear, they don't know what to do, they cry all the day, all the time. And they're supposed to have maybe 2 or 3 months or half a year to be alive, but they pass away very fast. The reason is because their physical body gets sick, their mind also gets sick. The doctor, the medicine can heal your body, but they can't heal your mind. So we always say that sickness is just not on the physical body. It's also in our mind. And that's why when a person has serious sickness, people always tell them is that think in a positive way. Don't make yourself sad or have negative emotional feeling, because it add more sickness to your physical body. So sickness is something that we cannot control. We cannot control the virus, the disease around us. And also we cannot control our body from getting this disease if we don't take care of it. If we have flu, go and see a doctor. Take vitamin C. Most important, rest. And think in a positive way. If we get a serious sickness, it might get bad, it might get good, but face it with a strong mind. Don't be defeated by this serious sickness. Because if you think that all of us will die, it's just that you experience death earlier than other people. And because death is a reality, so what are the things that you worry about? Death does not only belongs to old people. Death belongs to all beings. And if we don't accept this, we will only bring more sufferings to our own selves. So when sickness arises, we might get healed, get better, or we might stepping towards the next truth of our life, which is death. Most of us, when we hear about this term, death, we do not want to hear this word death. We are afraid of death. Why are we afraid of death? Do you ever think about it before? Why are we so afraid of death? Even though we know that death will definitely come to us. But why are we so afraid and we want to ignore it? It's just like most Asian people, they do not want anybody to bring out this word death. Do you ever think of why are we so afraid of it? I can share with you 2 reasons. One is that because we do not know where we are going after death. What happened to this body after death? And after death, do I still have this thinking? My body will not be moving anymore, but what next? What happened to me next? This is the fear. Because we feel insecure. We don't know what happened after that. Second, we worry about the things that we have in this life. And so after death, what happened to my things after I pass away? So we worry about the things that we can't control. We worry about ourselves we can't control after death. It's because we fear of what is unknown. We do not know what will happen next. We do not know where will I be after I pass away. What will I be able to bring with me after I pass away? So this is something that when a person faces fear because of the unknown, because of the uncontrolled, unable to control, the fear arises, and that's why we do not want to talk about it. And when we get closer and closer and closer to death, we start to have this hopeless feeling, insecure feeling. And because of this insecure and hopeless, due to the unknown and unable to control, either we feel angry, frustration, and then, or maybe at the same time, depression. The reason is because we are unable to accept the truth or the reality, even though we know that it's the truth and the reality. So what can we do to death? What can we do? Can we stop death? If we can't stop death, then what can we do? And next, when people around us, especially our family members and the person I loved most, pass away, we feel hurt, we feel pain. But do you ever think of why do we feel hurt and pain and sorrow? Why do we have this feeling coming out? It's just like tearing us apart. I can also share with you some of my thoughts. When our loved ones depart from us, why we feel sad? It's because we feel lonely. We're no more able to touch this person anymore. We're no more able to hear the voice of this person anymore. We're no more able to see this person anymore. It seems like this person completely disappeared from our life. That's why we start to cry, tears coming out. It's a feeling that we feel lonely, we feel lost, we feel pain. Even though we know that one day this person will depart from us, or one day we will depart from this person. Even though we know it, we still feel the pain and lonely feeling. And the most sad thing is that we are unable to control all this. We can't control death. There's nothing we can do. So when we face it, we physically face it, we know that we can't stop it. And because of this, we feel sorrow. We feel sad. We cry. It's not because we can't let go. It's because of we can't do anything. And because we can't do anything, we want to hold on to it, but we can't do anything. So when we face with death, whether it's somebody pass away from us or we pass away, the sad feeling, the pain feeling, is something that we physically and emotionally will experience it. So when we talk about this four suffering, birth, aging, sickness, and death, this is something that all of us know about it. All of us know about it. But when we really have to face it, we can't control our emotional feeling. We can't control our anger, frustration, hopeless, loneliness, fear, anxiety feeling. We can't deal with it. And if we're unable to find a way to resolve it, these negative feelings will drag for a long, long time. Some people will drop into the stage of depression. Some people will get anxiety. Some people might even kill themselves, commit suicide, because they can't take it anymore. They can't take the loneliness, anger, fear, sadness, this feeling anymore. They're unable to let go of it anymore. And how do we convince ourselves to let go? We cannot ignore the feeling when we encounter birth, aging, sickness, and death, especially aging, sickness, and death. We cannot ignore this truth. We cannot ignore the emotional feeling. That's our human nature. We cannot say that, oh, somebody passed away, I don't feel sad. Are you sure that you don't feel sad? Especially the persons that you love. So the Buddha never tell us to ignore it. The Buddha actually share with us to see this, see through the truth of this, understand the truth of this, accept the truth of this, especially understand and accept. A lot of people just stop in understanding. I know it, but I don't accept it. I do not want to accept that this person passed away. I do not want to accept that I'm getting old. I do not want to accept that I'm sick. I do not want to accept it, so we stuck there. And because we don't accept, the next reaction is what? Against it. I don't want to accept, so I against it. I find ways to against it. And think about it, when you against it, fight against it, not happy, angry, do you think that this will solve the problem? However, if you follow the teachings from the Buddha, we accept that we will get old, we will get sick, and we will pass away. So the next thing is what? Cherish our time and life. We will get weak one day. So why don't we do something that is worth in our life before we get old? Do something that benefit yourself and others before we get old. Why do we need to wait and wait and wait? And one day, when our physical body unable to do it, we get regret. We did not cherish our life. Cherish the time. Sickness. We know that we will get sick. Then why do we want to eat so much junk food? Why do we want to sleep late? Why do we mistreat our body? We will get sick. Any kinds of sickness. If we mistreat our body gets sick, you don't blame anyone if you did not treat your body well. We give a lot of excuse that I need to work. That's why I need to work overtime the whole night. And then after that, I sleep very late because the whole night I was working. Do you know that in the nature of our life and our body function is that when it gets to the nighttime, we're supposed to rest. We're not supposed to work. If we have to work in the nighttime due to our job, then you have to adjust yourself. But a lot of people, they can work in the daytime, they choose not to work in the daytime, they work in the nighttime. And also, some people want to smoke, drink so much, eat so much meat, and cause burden to your own body, and you get sick. We did not cherish our own physical body. We abuse our physical body. And then one day when we get sick, we didn't even realize that actually we are the one that abuse it. The body starts to say, I can't take it anymore. We complain that why do I get this sickness? Why do I get cancer? Why do I have this heart problem? Why do I have high blood pressure? We always ask why from the external things. We never ask why to ourselves. So we did not cherish our body. We do not want to accept that sickness comes to us. It's because we did not protect our body well. And also, we always think about the negative things. Our whole mind are filled with negative thinking. We fear, we get anxiety. We think of bad things. We like to look into bad news. Listens to gossip. So our mind is not strong. The mind gets sick. Who caused the mind to get sick? Because we choose the negative energy all the time. So what can we do? Just think about it. The Buddha has already taught us that the reality of our life, we will have sickness. We can't control the virus, the disease around us. But we can cherish our physical body. When we get sick, rest, drink more water, take medicine, eat good food. But do we actually think, really listens to it? And death. As I mentioned earlier, death does not only belongs to old people. Any one of us, anyone, we might experience death in certain age. We won't know. Since we would know, then why don't we cherish our time? If we are 10 years old, cherish this point of time. When we are 20 years old, cherish this point of time. Our life belongs to breathing. If we are breathing, we are alive. If we are no more breathing, then we are dead. So, if we don't understand this and don't accept the truth of death, we won't cherish our time. We always thought that we will have tomorrow. We always thought that, okay, I can do this tomorrow. I can love my wife tomorrow. I can do this tomorrow. We always think that we will have tomorrow. Yeah, we might have tomorrow, but we also might not have tomorrow. So, when we face death, why we have fear? Because we regret. We lost. We have unknown feeling with us. And that's why nobody likes death. But when you see this, you understand it, you accept it, because you accept it, at that point of time, you will cherish your life. You will cherish the time. You will cherish the thing. And because of your cherish, you have no regret. And because you know that what you have been doing in your entire life, in the day that you pass away, you feel secure. You know that after you pass away, you won't be going to the hell. You won't be rebirthed in unfortunate realms. You won't be rebirthed as an animal or as an ant or hungry ghost or ghost. You're very clear that you did nothing bad. You never waste your own time. You have no regrets. And because of you have no regrets, your mind will be at ease. And because of your mind is at ease, you won't be afraid of where you will be going, right? You won't be afraid that somebody will chase after you because you did something bad. There's no fear in you. And because there's no fear, you won't worry or don't know. So this is something that I would like to share with all of you about the first four suffering that the Buddha shared with us and want us to understand that in our life, these are the reality that we have to experience it. No choice. And since we have to experience it, then how should we choose to experience it? You can choose to experience it with a negative reaction, or you can choose to experience this with a positive reaction. Basically, this is all your own choice. Nobody can force you. So today, I share with you this 4 suffering. I hope that you can think about it. When you think about it, make a choice in your life. And by making this choice in your life, you will know that what you need to do, the next steps. And next week, I will be sharing with you another 4 suffering that we will definitely experience as well. So through this sharing, I hope that you get some inspiration and know what to do next. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next week. A弥陀佛.